the sacred land of Naimisharanya, where the echoes of wisdom resound through the ancient trees, a grand yajna was being performed. The revered sage, Shonak, led the ritual, surrounded by sages from distant lands. As the divine flames flickered, the gathered sages turned to one among them, the wise sage Lomesh, to narrate the timeless tale of Mahadev, Lord Shiva. In his opulent palace, King Daksha Prajapati, father of Sati, prepared for a yajna of unparalleled grandeur. Invitations were sent to gods, sages, and celestial beings, but one name was left out deliberately. Lord Shiva, his own son-in-law, was not invited for the grand yajna. With a prideful gaze, Daksha Prajapati gave the order, setting the wheels of fate in motion. High in the ethereal realms of Kailash, goddess Sati received word of her father's yajna. A celestial bird brought her the news, its whispers stirring a storm within her heart. Torn between duty and love, she turned to her divine husband, Mahadev, Lord Shiva, who sat in deep meditation. With wisdom in his voice, he warned her, "An uninvited guest is often unwelcomed. This path holds pain, my beloved." But her heart was set on seeing her father once more. Despite the wisdom in Shiva's words, goddess Sati's heart remained steadfast. "I must go, my lord," she declared. Understanding her resolve, Lord Shiva closed his eyes and nodded. "Then go with my blessings, but you will not go alone." At his command, the mighty Rudra Ganas emerged from the shadows, their eyes fierce, their stance protective. As goddess Sati descended from Kailash, a silent storm began to gather on the horizon, one that would change the course of destiny forever.
पुनादोषा भद्रं सदा वीरा भद्रं मुदा भद्रा काल्या समाश्लिष्टा मुगरं सुवाक्तेषु भद्रं तरण्येष्वा भद्रं कृपाम्भोधि मुद्रं भजे वीरा भद्रं महादेवामीशं स्वदीक्षादाताशं विबोध्याशु दक्षं नियन्तुं समक्षे.
Goddess Sati, the daughter of King Daksha Prajapati, arrives at the grand yajna, expecting to see her father and the divine guests in harmony. But as she looks around, a painful truth unfolds before her eyes. Every deity has been honored, yet her beloved husband, Mahadev, Lord Shiva, has been deliberately excluded. Sadness fills her heart, but as she realizes the depth of her father's insult, sorrow turns into rage. Prajapati Daksha's eyes burn with fury as he speaks, his words filled with arrogance and disdain. He ridicules Mahadev, Lord Shiva, calling him inauspicious and unworthy of respect. Sati, unable to bear the insult to her husband, feels her anger rise. The air around her becomes heavy with divine energy, but Daksha remains blind to the consequence of his actions. Goddess Sati's heart is shattered. Unable to bear the dishonor of her beloved husband, Mahadev, Lord Shiva, she makes the ultimate decision. With unwavering resolve, she walks towards the sacred fire. The flames rise high as she steps in, engulfing her in their divine embrace. Gasps of shock echo through the gathering, and Prajapati Daksha, for the first time, looks shaken. News of Goddess Sati's sacrifice reaches Kailash, and Lord Shiva's fury shakes the universe. From his locks, he creates Virbhadra, a being of unparalleled rage and power. Like a storm, Virbhadra descends upon the yajna, his fiery eyes burning with vengeance. The battlefield erupts as the deity's army is forced into a retreat.
सदस्यानुदस्याशु सूर्येन्दुबिम्बे कराङ्गरी प्रपातैरदन्तासिताङ्गे कृपन् शारदाया कृपन्मासभूषं प्रकृष्टाकहावं भजे धीराभद्रम्.
no bounds. With unmatched strength, he defeats the deities and sages who stand against him. Sage Bhrigu is thrown to the ground, his beard torn as punishment. And then, as divine justice unfolds, Veerbhadra reaches Prajapati Daksha. With one swift strike, Daksha's head is severed and cast into the sacrificial fire, his arrogance consumed by the very flames he once used for his ego. The universe trembles as Lord Shiva arrives. Mahadev, Lord Shiva's presence, alone calms the storm of destruction. Lord Brahma pleads for mercy, seeking Prajapati Daksha's revival. In his boundless compassion, Mahadev, Lord Shiva grants life once more, placing a goat's head upon Daksha's body. The once proud king, Prajapati Daksh, opens his eyes, now burdened with deep regret. Humbled and ashamed, Prajapati Daksha bows before Mahadev, Lord Shiva. With tears in his eyes, he seeks forgiveness, realizing that true worship is not in mere rituals, but in sincere devotion and righteousness. Lord Shiva, ever merciful, grants him his blessing. The yajna is restored, and with it, the lesson of humility echoes through the ages.
Deva 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 Shiva, Deva 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 Shiva, Om Namah Shivaya Namaha Shivaya, Om Namah 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 Shivaya.
Once, Indra, king of the gods, sat in his celestial court, enchanted by the sweet melodies of the Gandharvas. Unbeknownst to him, sage Vasishtha had arrived, expecting the due honor of a guest. But Indra, lost in music, failed to greet him. Offended, Vasishtha left, his heart burning with anger. News of Indra's folly reached the demon king, Mahabali. Seizing the opportunity, he led a fearsome army to storm the gates of Indraloka. A great battle ensued, but the gods were overpowered, and Mahabali claimed victory. Mahabali rejoiced, bringing the gods' wealth to his dark kingdom of Patala Loka. But destiny had other plans, and the treasures slipped beneath the ocean, beyond the grasp of demon or deity.
Om Namah Sambhavicha Mayo Bhavecha Namah Shankaraya Cha Shamayashkaraya Cha Namah Shivaya Cha Shivataraya Cha.
Defeated and desperate, the gods sought the wisdom of Lord Mahavishnu. With Brahma by his side, the preserver pondered their plight and offered a path to reclaim their lost splendor.
Om Krishnaya Govindaya Gopijana Vallabhaya Paraya Para Purushaya Paramatmane Parakarma Mantraya Trusha Shastra Shastrani Samhara Samhara Mrutyor Mochaya Mochaya Om Namo Bhagavate Mahasudarshanaya Dite Jwala Paritaya Sarvadhik Shubhanakaraya Om Fat Brahmane Paranjyoti Se Swaha.
And so began the great churning of the ocean, gods and demons pulling in unison. Mandara Chal, the mighty mountain, threatened to sink, but Lord Mahavishnu took the form of a tortoise, bearing its weight upon his back.
Avya subhuvana traye anivrutam kandura nayadrina nidra nasya parasya kurmava pusho nishvasavatormaya yad ikshapana samskrito dadepaya prena kola paryankika nikyarohana nikuko nihayake beba sahai hasya.
From the depths of ocean arose wonders beyond imagination: Chandrama, Sarabi, the Kalpa tree, Kaustubh, Achchaya Shrava, and Airavata. Finally came Lakshmi, goddess of wealth. But with them emerged Halahal, a poison so potent, it threatened to consume all creation. Only Lord Shiva's divine sacrifice could save the world.
Om Namah Shivaya. 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 Om Namah Shivaya.
With balance restored, Lakshmi chose Lord Vishnu as her eternal consort, blessing the worlds with prosperity. The gods reclaimed their place, and peace once again graced Indraloka.
Samudra vasane devi parvatas tanam namandale Vishnu Patni Namastubhyam Padasparsham Samasmame.
Dhanvantari emerges with the pot of ambrosia. The churning of the ocean reaches its climax. From the swirling waters, the divine physician rises, a radiant figure emerging from the cosmic ocean, holding a golden pot filled with glowing nectar, surrounded by divine light and mist. Dhanvantari gracefully rises from the ocean, his form glowing with divine energy. The pot of ambrosia shines brightly, casting golden reflections on the waves. As the ocean churned with divine force, from its depths emerged Dhanvantari, the divine healer, holding in his hands the Amrutha precious nectar of immortality. The Vrishbhava steals the ambrosia. Before the deities could rejoice, the demon Vrishbhava leaps forward, dashes forward, snatching the pot of ambrosia from Dhanvantari's hands, and vanishes into a swirling portal leading to the dark realm and vanished into the dark depths of Patal Loka. Vishnu becomes Mohini. Lord Vishnu transforms into the enchanting Mohini, a mesmerizing beauty, her eyes glowing with divine charm, a breathtaking beauty, the radiant Mohini, her graceful movements captivating all who gaze upon her. To retrieve the nectar, Lord Vishnu assumed the form of Mohini, an enchanting beauty whose grace and allure bewitched all who beheld her. Mohini distracts the demons. In Patal Loka, Mohini finds the demons arguing over who should drink the nectar. She captivates them, offering to distribute the ambrosia fairly. Mohini standing gracefully before a crowd of bickering demons, her radiant beauty casting a spell over them. Mohini glides elegantly among the demons, her movements hypnotic, calming their quarrel. They gaze at her. Her arrival silenced the squabbling demons. Enchanted, they agreed to let her divide the nectar. The deities receive the nectar. Mohini arranges the demons and deities in separate rows, secretly giving the nectar only to the deities. Mohini elegantly pouring the glowing ambrosia into the golden cups of the seated deities, while the demons watch, mesmerized. Mohini gracefully moves along the row of deities, pouring the nectar into their hands, while the demons wait patiently in a trance. As the demons watched in awe, Mohini carefully distributed the precious nectar, ensuring that only the deities received its divine essence. Rahu's deception. Rahu, disguised as a deity, sneaks into the deity's row and drinks some nectar, secretly from the pot of ambrosia, his eyes glinting with triumph, cunningly disguised, silently sipping the nectar of immortality. Mohini punishes Rahu. Chandrama swiftly draws Mohini's attention, with fierce and divine energy, wielding a radiant sword as Rahu's severed head flies through the air. With divine speed, Mohini striking Rahu's neck in a flash of light, his head flying into the cosmic sky. The birth of eclipses. Rahu's severed head rises to the sky, vowing revenge by swallowing Chandrama during eclipses. Rahu's severed head, glowing with dark energy, floating through the sky, its eyes burning with eternal rage. Rahu's head ascends into the sky, his eyes fixed on Chandrama, vowing revenge as darkness spreads across the heavens. Though his body perished, Rahu's immortal head ascended to the skies, chasing the moon in eternal pursuit, causing eclipses to this day. Shiva's protection. Chandrama seeks refuge with Lord Shiva, who protects him by placing him within his matted locks. Lord Shiva, serene and powerful, with the crescent moon glowing softly in his matted hair. Shiva lifts Chandrama and places him gently into his hair, the moonlight blending with his divine aura. Lord Shiva placed Chandrama safely within his locks, shielding him from Rahu's wrath.
Om Namah Shivaya. 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 Om Namah Shivaya.
The rise of Tarakasur. After Sati's death, Shiva enters deep penance. Tarakasur gets a boon from Lord Brahma and begins tormenting the deities. Lord Shiva in deep penance on the Himalayas, serene yet isolated, surrounded by snow-capped peaks. Tarakasur, a fierce demon with glowing eyes, kneeling before majestic Lord Brahma in a cosmic realm. Lord Shiva meditating in the Himalayas, Tarakasur gaining a boon from a glowing Lord Brahma in the heavens, dark aura forming around Tarakasur post-boon. After the tragic demise of Sati,
Om Namah Shivaya. 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 Om Namah Shivaya.
Lord Shiva withdrew from the world, embracing penance in the snow-covered Himalayas. Meanwhile, the demon Tarakasur sought invincibility and received a boon from Lord Brahma, that only a child born of Shiva could end his tyranny. The birth of Girija. In desperation, the gods approached Himalaya, asking him to beget a daughter who could win Shiva's heart. Thus was born Girija, a divine reincarnation of Sati, destined to fulfill a cosmic prophecy. Girija's devotion to Shiva. 8-year-old Girija in simple attire, offering flowers near a meditating Lord Shiva at the mouth of a serene cave. Girija respectfully placing offerings and water near Shiva's cave, daily visits under golden Himalayan sunlight. From the tender age of 8, Girija was drawn to the cave where Shiva meditated. With unwavering devotion, she began serving him, silently, sincerely, and selflessly. Kamadeva's sacrifice. Kamadeva tries to awaken Shiva's desire, but is burnt. Kamadeva with bow of flowers aiming at meditating Shiva, then being burnt by a fiery third eye. Kamadeva aiming arrows of love at Shiva, a sudden explosion from Shiva's third eye turning Kamadeva into ashes. Rati crying in anguish. The gods invoked Kamadeva to awaken love in Shiva's heart, but Shiva, enraged by the intrusion, opened his third eye and reduced Kamadeva to ashes. Rati wept, but Girija consoled her, vowing to bring him back. Parvati's severe penance. Girija undertakes extreme penance to win Shiva. Parvati standing barefoot in the forest, surrounded by fire, meditating with closed eyes, glowing with divine resolve. Seasons changing around Parvati as she meditates unfazed, birds nesting near her, divine light emerging from her. To awaken the divine union, Girija undertook penance so severe that even the cosmos trembled. Her heart beat only for Shiva, and the gods watched with hope. Shiva tests Parvati. Shiva disguises as a hermit and questions her devotion. A rugged hermit talking to Parvati and her friends near a forest hermitage, Parvati turning away in dignified anger. Shiva in disguise mocking his own appearance, Parvati firmly declaring her loyalty, Shiva revealing his true form with celestial radiance. To test her devotion, Shiva disguised as a skeptical hermit, but Parvati's unwavering love shone through. Pleased, Shiva revealed himself and blessed her. The wedding proposal. Saptarishis approach Himalaya with Shiva's proposal. The 7 sages descending in golden light to Himalaya's palace. Himalaya folding hands in reverence. Saptarishis announcing the proposal. Queen Mena and other mountains joyfully agreeing, festive preparations beginning. The Saptarishis brought Shiva's proposal. Himalaya, beaming with joy, accepted the divine union. The mountains rejoiced, and preparations began for the grandest of weddings. The divine marriage. Grand wedding of Shiva and Parvati. Shiva with a crescent moon and tiger skin, surrounded by celestial beings arriving for marriage. Parvati in bridal attire with floral garlands. Divine marriage rituals, sage Garg chanting mantras, Vishwakarma building the divine canopy, Himalaya performing Kanyadan. The marriage of Shiva and Parvati was celebrated across the realms. Gods, sages and even spirits rejoiced. With blessings from all corners, the divine union was complete. Birth of Kartikeya. Agni carries Shiva's seed. 6 Kritikas nurture it. Kartikeya is born. Agni glowing with heat, Parvati furious, 6 celestial women walking in misty cold mountains, baby Kartikeya with 6 heads cradled by reeds. Parvati handing over the divine seed, Agni in pain, 6 Kritikas absorbing divine energy, stars forming in the sky, baby Kartikeya emerging glowing from reeds. From the divine union of Shiva and Parvati came a powerful energy. Agni became the carrier, and 6 divine maidens nurtured the essence. From sacred reeds, the warrior Kartikeya was born, the destined destroyer of Tarakasur.
Om Namah Shivaya. 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 Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya.
The prophecy of Tarakasur's end. In the celestial court of Lord Shiva, the worried deities stand before him. Shiva solemnly assures them that Tarakasur's end is near. A divine court atop Mount Kailash, Lord Shiva seated on a grand throne, deities like Indra, Varuna and Vayu standing in reverence. A calm but determined expression on Shiva's face as he speaks. The troubled deities gathered before Lord Shiva, pleading for deliverance from the tyranny of the demon king Tarakasur. With calm assurance, Shiva declared, Tarakasur's days are numbered.
Namah Shivaya, 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 Namah Shivaya.
The divine command. As the deities march toward the battlefield, a divine voice commands them to choose Kartikeya as their leader. A divine army moving through a heavenly forest path, glowing clouds parting as a divine voice echoes above. Light beams focus on Kartikeya. As the deities marched to war, a voice thundered from the heavens. Victory is only possible under Kartikeya's command. The gods immediately turned to the young warrior for guidance. Devasena's proposal. Devasena approaches Kartikeya, requesting him to be her husband. He accepts, thus becoming Devasenapati, commander of the divine army. Devasena, graceful and radiant, bows before Kartikeya under a celestial tree. Kartikeya nods in acceptance. A symbolic wedding aura encircles them. At that moment arrived Devasena, daughter of Mrityu, with a divine proposal. Be my husband, Kartikeya. He accepted, earning the title Devasenapati, commander of the divine army. The march to battle. Kartikeya leads the celestial army, riding a majestic elephant. Indra, Varuna, Kuber and others march behind him. Kartikeya on a majestic white elephant, armor gleaming, surrounded by a well-formed divine army under golden skies, approaching the island battlefield. Mounted on a majestic elephant, Kartikeya led a divine legion. Indra, Varuna, Kuber and others rallied behind him, their spirits reignited by their youthful commander. Battle begins. The two armies clash on an island between the Ganga and Yamuna. Initially, the demons overpower the deities. A lush island battlefield, fierce clashes of glowing weapons, towering demons versus shining deities in combat. On the sacred island between Ganga and Yamuna, the two forces collided. The demons, fierce and numerous, overwhelmed the deities. Even mighty Indra fell under Tarakasur's brutal strike. Muchkunda's attempt. King Muchkunda attempts to strike Tarakasur with Brahmastra, but is stopped by sage Narada, who reveals only Kartikeya can kill him. Muchkunda with Brahmastra glowing in hand, Narada descends in a ray of light, warning him while Tarakasur looms in the background. King Muchkunda rose with fury and launched the Brahmastra, but sage Narada intervened. Tarakasur is immune to mortals, only Kartikeya can slay him. Wait for the destined moment. Veerabhadra's duel. Veerabhadra fiercely battles Tarakasur and wreaks havoc among the demons. A whirlwind of destruction as Veerabhadra, wild-haired and blazing, charges into enemy lines, cutting through demon ranks. Veerabhadra, the fierce avatar of Shiva's wrath, stormed the battlefield. His rage tore through demon lines. Even Tarakasur hesitated. Tarakasur's illusion. Tarakasur uses his magical powers to grow 10,000 hands. The deities are terrified and retreat. Tarakasur transforming, gaining thousands of glowing arms, eyes glowing red, the gods in stunned retreat. Unleashing dark sorcery, Tarakasur transformed, 10,000 arms rising like a storm. Panic seized the deities as the monstrous form approached. Vishnu's command. Lord Vishnu urges Kartikeya to act before it is too late. A golden vision of Lord Vishnu appearing in the sky, addressing Kartikeya urgently as divine light surrounds them. From the heavens, Lord Vishnu's voice echoed, "Strike now, Kartikeya, delay no more." The warrior god knew the moment had come. The final duel. Kartikeya and Tarakasur clash in a violent battle, exchanging Shakti weapons. Kartikeya briefly loses consciousness. Both warriors mid-air launching glowing Shakti weapons, an explosion of divine and demonic energy. Kartikeya falls momentarily. The skies trembled as Shakti met Shakti. A blast shook the battlefield. Kartikeya fell, unconscious, but not defeated. The awakening. Kartikeya awakens, remembering his parents, and gathers divine strength. Kartikeya slowly rising from the ground, eyes closed in reverence, with an aura of power returning to him. From the dust, Kartikeya rose. Remembering Shiva and Parvati, he summoned divine will. His purpose burned brighter than ever. Tarakasur's death. Kartikeya hurls his Shakti once more, killing Tarakasur instantly. Kartikeya releasing his Shakti towards Tarakasur, who is struck and dissolves into ashes, screaming. With unwavering focus, Kartikeya hurled his Shakti. It pierced Tarakasur's heart. The demon screamed and perished. Peace returned to the heavens. Victory of the gods. The gods rejoiced in victory, hailing Kartikeya as their savior. All the deities surround Kartikeya in joy. Golden light bathing the battlefield, flowers raining from the heavens. The gods rejoiced, that tormentor vanquished. Kartikeya, the warrior, the commander, the son of Shiva, was hailed as the savior of the divine realm.
Tat Purushaya Vidmahe Masinaya Dhimahe Tanno Shanmukha Prachodayatu Tat Purushaya Vidmahe Masinaya Dhimahe Tanno Shanmukha Prachodayatu Tat Purushaya Vidmahe Masinaya Dhimahe Tanno Shanmukha Prachodayatu. Oh, Nagendra Haraya, Trilochanaya, Pasmangarakaya, Maheswaraya, Nityaya Shudaya, Digambaraya, Tasmai Nakaraya, Namah Shivaya.
Mahashivaratri celebration, significance and spiritual meaning. Mahashivaratri is observed with deep reverence for multiple profound reasons, all centered around the divine acts and essence of Lord Shiva.
Nandiswara Pramadanada Maheswaraya, Mandra Pushpa Bhau Pushpa Supujitaya, Tasmai Makaraya, Namah Shivaya.
This sacred night honors Shiva's presence and is linked with his cosmic dance. his union with goddess Parvati, and his act of self-sacrifice during the churning of the ocean. It is a time for spiritual awakening.
Shivaya Gauri Vadana Ravinda Suryaya Daksha Dhorana Sakaya Siniyata Kandaya Vrishadhojaya
Tasmai Sikaraya Namah Shivaya
Vasishta Puputava Gotru Tamadhi Munendra Devarchita Shekaraya Chandraka Visanara Lohochanaya Tasmai Vakaraya Namah Shivaya.
Personal growth and invoking divine blessings for peace and well-being. Manifestation of Lord Shiva. According to sacred texts, Lord Shiva manifested as Lingodbhava, a boundless pillar of light, at midnight on Mahashivaratri. This appearance is revered as a symbol of his infinite nature. Divine marriage of Shiva and Parvati. The festival is also celebrated as the celestial wedding of Shiva and Parvati, signifying the harmonious merging of the masculine and feminine energies in the universe.
Yaksha Swarupaya Jadataraya Pinaka Hastataya Sanataraya Iyaya Devaya Digambaraya Tasmaya Karaya Namah Shivaya.
Protector of the cosmos, the Nilkant legend. During the Samudra Manthan, when the oceans were churned by gods and demons, a lethal poison surfaced. Lord Shiva consumed it to save creation, earning the name Nilkant due to his blue-colored throat. A night of deep spiritual practice. Devotees observe fasting, chant prayers, meditate, and stay awake through the night, using this time to strengthen their spiritual discipline and connect with Lord Shiva's divine energy. Dance of creation and destruction, Tandava. Mahashivaratri also represents Shiva's Tandava, the cosmic dance that symbolizes the balance of destruction and creation, a reminder of the cyclical nature of life and the universe. Time for inner renewal. This night is regarded as a powerful opportunity for inner purification, shedding past negativity and embracing renewal and positive transformation.
Nagendra Haraya Trilochanaya Vasmangaragaya Maheswaraya Nityaya Shudaya Digambaraya Tasmai Nakaraya Namah Shivaya. Nagendra Haraya Trilochanaya Vasmangaragaya Maheswaraya Nityaya Shudaya Dindaraya Tasmai Makaraya Namah Shivaya.
Mandatini Sahila Chandana Chanchidaya Nandiswara Pramadana Maheswaraya Mandrava Pushpa Bahu Pushpa Supujitaya Tasmai Makaraya Namah Shivaya.
Virtues of observing fast on Shivaratri. Sage Lomesh's teaching, Wisdom of Sage. In a serene forest hermitage, Sage Lomesh sits under a banyan tree, surrounded by rishis and disciples. With divine aura, he narrates the greatness of Shivaratri. Sage Lomesh spoke with divine clarity. The 14th day of the dark half of every lunar month is sacred. It is known as Shivaratri, the night dedicated to Lord Shiva. Observing this night destroys even the gravest of sins. The tale begins, a shadowy village setting. A Brahmin widow secretly meets a Chandal. Later, she gives birth to Dusa, a boy who grows up in moral decay. Sage Lomesh then shared a tale of warning and hope. Once, a Brahmin widow fell into an illicit relationship with a Chandal. From their union was born Dusa, a man lost to vice, gambling, drunkenness, theft, and murder. Dusa plans the robbery. Intentions of darkness. Dusa, hiding in shadows, eyes a grand temple of Shiva filled with devotees. He watches from afar, hoping to rob the temple. One Shivaratri night, Dusa set his sights on a Shiva temple, planning to rob it under the cover of darkness. But the temple was full, alive with devotion and divine stories. The night of awakening, a night transformed. Dusa hides behind a pillar, unable to act on his wicked plan. Instead, he listens to the priest telling tales of Lord Shiva. His face softens, unknowingly touched by the divine. Unable to act on his wicked plan, Dusa stayed the entire night, unintentionally fasting and listening to Shiva's glories. Though a sinner, these two acts became the seeds of his redemption. Rebirth as a prince, the fruit of devotion. In a royal palace, a queen gives birth to a glowing child. The royal couple beams with joy. The child is named Vichitravirya. In his next birth, the sinner was reborn as Vichitravirya, the son of King Chitrangad. His two virtuous deeds on Shivaratri night had earned him a royal rebirth. The devotee emerges. The Chitravirya, now a noble prince, meditates before a Shiva lingam in a forest shrine, completely absorbed in worship. The Chitravirya grew into a noble soul, his heart filled with devotion for Lord Shiva. The flame of past karma had now turned into the fire of divine longing. Union with Lord Shiva, manifestation as Virabhadra. A cosmic scene, Lord Shiva shaking his matted hair in fury upon learning of Sati's demise. From his locks emerged the fierce warrior form, Virabhadra. At the cosmic moment of sorrow, when Shiva heard of Sati's death and shook his head in agony, the Chitravirya's soul merged with the divine, emerging as the formidable Virabhadra. Legacy of Shivaratri, the power of the fast. Montage of ancient kings, Bharata, Mandata, Harihashyand, fasting and praying before Shiva on Shivaratri night. Thus speaks the ancient wisdom. Shivaratri is a night of transformation, from the sinner Dusa to the kings Bharata, Mandata, Dundumar, and Harihashyand. Fasting and devotion on this night leads to salvation.
Shiva Shivakaraya Namah Shivaya.
The eternal light. Bells ring, chants echo at the glowing Shiva Lingam of Himalayas, where devotees observe Shivaratri to attain the eternal. On this sacred night, even a moment of devotion touches eternity. Shivaratri, where sins dissolve and the soul rises.
Panchaksharamidam punyam ya pade Shiva sannidho